Hey, how's it going?
Hello, David. How are you doing?
Good, good. I was surprised I was able to smoothly join because, as you know, with these things, there's always something that goes wrong.
Yeah, usually it does. That's
Yeah,
why I joined a few minutes early, just to stay ahead of the curve. Yeah.
100%. Yeah, things are going well. Busy. Um, I don't know if you saw, but we're going to be hiring potentially a head of marketing at some point, so that's cool.
Yeah, I didn't know the news, but yeah, that's
Oh, well,
definitely cool.
if Lav says something on Monday, act surprised. But he posted to LinkedIn earlier, so I'm assuming it's public knowledge at this point.
Yeah, all right. All right. By the way, how's the weather there? Are you leaving the winter?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I was talking to Alexandra about this. Seems like we have very similar weather patterns right now. Like today, it's super hot. Um, but I think by the weekend it's gonna start raining again. So, what about you guys?
Yeah, similar, probably. I mean, we're seeing the start of summer already. The
Nice.
spring is kind of already finishing. It's getting hotter and hotter, but
Yeah, I've been telling everyone. It feels like the weather we've been getting this month, at least over here, it was what we were supposed to get last month, like in April, and just kind of got delayed by a month because there was a lot of rain, a lot of wet, a lot of cold, very little sun, which is very typical for April, at least in Montreal. But now finally opening up, getting some sunshine, getting some vitamin D, which is nice.
always, yeah.
Oh, I want to ask you. I didn't ask you this morning, but how was the move? Did everything go smoothly?
It did. I mean, I don't have a lot of luggage, so I was able to move
Yeah.
literally over the weekend. And so yeah, still the apartment is a mess, but
You just
uh,
got in there.
yeah, we'll see. I'm going slowly with the cleaning now,
Mm,
but the move itself was smooth. Yeah,
mm. I also couldn't help but notice in the background this morning, but did you have some board games on that shelf behind you by any chance?
yeah, yeah. I'm a big
Was
fan.
was one of them Carcassonne? It looked like it might have been.
It is. It is.
Yeah. Yeah, nothing escapes these eyes. I see everything.
Yeah, yeah. It's a great game, and I
Yeah, I
I
think
love
he
the
was playing it
games
like
in
last
console.
weekend. So that's why it's so funny.
Really.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's great. Easy to learn,
very easy.
difficult to master.
I placed horribly. I think I came in last both games we played. Okay. Well, listen, we still have we're still early. We're still a minute before 2 o'clock by my account. So we're gonna wait a few minutes. Welcome everyone that's joining. This is the office hours for this month. We're gonna get started in a few minutes, but we like to take some time to obviously give a chance for people to join so they're not partway through the presentation. And if this is your first time to office hours, welcome. It's a good time. It's a time to get your questions answered, a time to see new features that we've been working on kind of in the background. So it's always fun. So get a drink, relax. If you have any questions, you have to use the Q&A. The chat function, I believe, was turned off. So any questions, just put in the QA section. And I'm sure you'll have many because that's how they always go. Okay. Oh, I also want to ask you, how are things going with Oscar?
They're going great. He's learning as well as we expected.
That's good.
Um, so yeah, the training is going smoothly.
Nice. Nice. And then Lav told me this at one point. I don't know if this is still true, but maybe in like July there might be someone else joining.
Yeah, we're hoping to get one more team member for support in July.
Nice.
Uh, I think the deal is agreed. It's not signed, so
Right.
we're still yet to see and to confirm it, but hopefully
Are you
we'll have a
worried?
new member in July.
Are you worried the person's not going to show up? They just
No, no. I've had some experiences in the past, similar experiences. That's why I'm wary. But yeah, I'm not worried for this one.
yeah. I don't know. Lav was very excited about this person, so um should be good. And then you guys have a pretty full team at that point. I don't think I've seen the support team that big since I've started.
Yeah, I mean, we are growing, getting
Sure.
more and more clients, so we need to be able to manage all of the chats, emails, and calls with
Your
them.
favorites.
So yeah, we're getting there.
All right, we'll give it one more minute. That'll be 2:02. That's going to be my cutoff, and then we'll get started. Just because I know some people join early, and the earlier we start, the earlier we can finish. And I'm sure everyone wants to take advantage of this nice weather. Maybe go for a walk or just be outside. So that's my plan here.
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. I see 2:02. You see 2:02?
Yep, you can take it away.
All right. So welcome everyone. This is office hours, and for those of you who don't know what that is, it's a time where we like to talk about new features, whether they're up and coming or just released, as well as, of course, answer your burning questions, whether it relates to the feature or not. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm David. I'm part of the marketing team at Vacation Tracker. And I'm sure most of you are aware of who Alex is, but if you're not, he's part of the support team. Probably the one that's answering the chats you're sending in or emails, or the one giving you setup calls. Although at this point, the team has grown rather large, so it might not always be Alex. A few things. Hey, sorry, I'm going to mute my teams here so I can not have that noise come off. You'll notice that there are no cameras outside of Alex and myself. That's just to make things easier so you're not distracted and we can really focus on the software and the presentation itself. But if you do have feedback, you can always put it in the Q&A section. That's where you're going to ask your questions. Feel free to ask them during the presentation, but we like to do them at the end just so we can keep things focused. And then we're going to go in sequential order. So first in, first out when it comes to questions. Another thing you might notice as well, great little feature from Zoho, but there's a little emoji button, reactions. So you can see at the bottom. So like I'm going to give a thumbs up right now. And that's just every once in a while we'll ask you just to see if you can see our screen, if everything's okay. Yeah, I love that peace sign. So have fun with them. That's the whole point. And then last two things of housekeeping, because people always ask, yes, this is recorded. You will get a copy of the recording as soon as this is done. I think it takes 10 to 15 minutes for Zoho to compress the file, and then it'll be sent to you. But of course, if you miss that email, it goes into spam or junk. We always upload these to both our website and our YouTube channel. So you have infinite access. Basically, it's going to be everywhere. Before we get started, the other thing I'll mention is we do have these polls that we ask, mainly just to get your feedback. How are you liking the software? Is everything to your liking? Are you enjoying these office hours? Do you find them helpful? That feedback is super, super helpful to us because it kind of guides the discussion as well as what we want to do in the future, or if we should make any changes. So I'm going to open those polls shortly. And yeah, when you have a chance, don't feel like you have to answer them right away. But if you have a moment, we really do appreciate. I'm going to open all three polls and just answer them at your leisure. I think that covers everything on my end. Alex, are you ready to get things rolling and start talking about scheduling?
Absolutely. Thank you, David. That was a nice and quick introduction. So what are we talking about today? Specifically, what feature we're talking about today? It's called scheduling on our end, though you shouldn't really confuse it with clocking in and out. As David and I discussed, we wanted to make sure that you don't think Vacation Tracker is going into the time tracking direction, because we are staying focused on the leave tracking part of people management. So this is not going to be a time tracker of any sorts. We won't have a clock in or out. But scheduling essentially is a pretty big feature for us because it took a long time for us to get to the point where we can release it. So I'll give you a brief backstory while also sharing my screen, just so you can see how the previous steps we took before getting to this point. So let me share my screen. And you can just let me know with some reactions, or David, you can confirm if you see the screen.
I'm all good on my end, but I'll still give you the reaction just so you have the satisfaction. There we
Right?
go.
A lot of reactions. Perfect. So the way we started this year was with a new feature called length of workday. I think it was released a bit before the new year, but it was still a fresh off-the-shelf feature for 2025. And the first version, the beta version of this feature, allowed you to go into your location, let's say Canada here, open the location editor and change the length of workday in this field right here. This would apply then to all of the employees in your location. So this prompted a new question where, for example, if you have a location where people work 8 hours and then you have a team within that location that worked 9 hours or 6 hours or part-time, what would you do then? After that, now of course this was just a first version of the feature, but after that we listened to your feedback and we made sure we follow the instructions where instead of doing just that, you could actually go into the user profile and change the length of workday for an individual here. This enabled a lot more flexibility, and it also allowed you to keep your vacation tracker dashboards clean because at one point everybody started creating new locations for different lengths of workday. It became a mess. So yeah, this option right here allows you to change this regardless of what the settings in the location were. Now, of course, this wasn't enough. So we decided to move it one step further. And that step was to introduce some sort of scheduling for employees' shifts. What this new feature does is it allows you to create a draft of multi-week schedules so that your employees that track your employees' working hours on a day-by-day basis. Essentially, this is going to allow you to set up different work days on different weeks for your employees, and it's going to bring in a whole lot more flexibility to your people managing in Vacation Tracker. What we'll have to do first, and this is very important for me to note to everybody, is that this feature can only work if you enable setting leave quotas in hours rather than days. If this is not turned on or switched, you should switch it first because it's not going to be available. And I think it's grayed out and it shows the message that you need to go into the general settings. So make sure you do this before making any other changes. After that, I'll go into my profile. Just a note here, this is our demo account. So even though my name is here, my actual leaves are not visible here. But yeah, going into my account, I'll go into the edit of the working days field. And here at the top, you'll see the enable working hours schedule option, which is the new feature. After clicking yes, it's going to open a whole new pop-up that's a lot bigger than the old one. And it's going to show every day's working hours that I have. So right now, by default, I have an 8-hour workday, Monday through Friday. Everything is fine. But let's say, for example, I switch to a part-time contract in Vacation Tracker, where I have some of the days where I work full-time and a few days that I do part-time. This can be easily done here. So I can change every single day. I'll change this to 4, for example. We'll leave Wednesdays to 8 hours. We'll do this. Thursdays can be 6, and Fridays, I can say I work 4-hour Fridays. So this looks messy right now. But yeah, that's all I can do. All I need to do to set up a new schedule, a new weekly schedule for myself. You'll see after I update this whole field will change and it's going to show my new weekly schedule. So based on this, if I were to request a vacation or a sick day on Tuesdays, I would only have 4 hours taken out of my balance. And of course, this is just a simple example. I know there's going to be a lot of questions about a lot of specific examples because every one of you has their own different rules and employee contracts. We're going to try to cover as many bases as we can during this call, but of course, there's going to be examples that we didn't show. So in case you need any help with setting this up later on, feel free to reach out and we'll do our best to help you. But yeah, moving on, we can get back into the working day schedule, and you'll see an option here right below the Sunday where it says we can add a week. In this case, let's say I click on add a week, and I'll have a second week. So you see this one shows May 26th as a starting day because that was a Monday. The next Monday is June 2nd. So this is my second week schedule. So let's say I work part-time again, but I'll do different hours. I'll do rotating schedule for 2 weeks, back and forth. So in this case, this is my first week's schedule, and my second week's schedule could be that I work 8 hours on Mondays, 6 hours on Tuesdays. Let's say I have Wednesdays off, and then I'll have Thursdays and Fridays 4 hours each. So this allows you to change the way you track leaves for everybody. So now, if I request a Wednesday of the first week, I'll have 8 hours taken out of my balance. But the second week, the system will know that I'm not working on that day, so it's not going to take any time out of my balance for that leave. I can click on update again, and it's going to show a new schedule for me. This can be done for up to 4 weeks, and the schedules are going to be rotating. So after the last week ends, it's going to go back to the start and do it all again. So in this case, after June 8th, a Friday of the week of June 8th, which would be June 6th, I guess. After that, it's going to go back to this week's schedule, and it's going to start me off on Monday with 6 hours of workday. Again, just to show you how to add a new week, you just click here, and it's going to give you a whole new column to fill out. We can do that to up to 4 weeks. After that, the add a week disappears, and the only thing you can do is remove a week by clicking on the red X. But yeah, that's pretty much how the feature functions. Now, of course, there's a lot of different examples we can use. Let me try to reset this quickly. No, it's not going to reset. All right. Let me change this all to 8 hours and get back to the beginning. So there are some cases, for example, where companies give a half-day Friday off to all employees, or every second Friday can be a half-day. For example, in that case, you can set it up here for every employee to have 8 hours Monday through Thursday, and then every second Friday they have half-day off. So you don't need to do this by setting up a custom holiday in the location settings, for example, anymore. This is going to be a much clearer way of doing that. What's also available is, of course, you could have employees that work, I don't know, every second Saturday, they could work 8 hours. So it's as simple as that. So you just add another day and another shift to them in the week that you want. What's important here is that as you can see at the top, the weeks are labeled as their start date, so the Monday's date of the week, and you can change that over here at the top. The start week is always going to be the first one in the schedule you're making, the current week we're in. But you can adjust that. So, for example, if you have an employee schedule that you know how it started at on January 1st, but you don't know which week you're hitting now, you can go back to January 1st, find this week, and set it up like this. So that employee's week schedule will rotate all the way until the end of the year, and they're gonna be in the correct week at the correct time. So yeah, that's a really cool feature, I think. Because I otherwise I would be lost. I'm not sure about you, David. But setting up somebody's work schedule halfway into the year, I know I'd have to contact you, for example, if you had a different schedule. I'd need to get a confirmation from you that I'm setting it up correctly. This is much easier, I think. So yeah, that's pretty much everything in here. Of course, let me go back to 8 hours again, because I want to show you one more thing. Let me update this temporarily. So now at 8-hour workdays, Monday through Friday, just a default 40-hour week. You can see my accrued hours at the bottom show 40 hours out of 160. 160 hours is 20 days per year. If I were to come in here and set up my my schedule to be a part-timer, for example, let's keep it simple in this case. I'll just do 4 hours every day for a week, and I update this. It's also going to change the number of accrued hours, or the number of hours I earn for a year. What this does pretty much is it adjusts, because my accruals are set to allow me 20 days per year. If I change my length of workday, I'm not going to keep earning the same number of hours in order to get to 20 days. So what the system does, it automatically recalculates the number of hours I'm supposed to have in order to hit the 20 days mark, because 80 hours on a 4-day work week is still 20 days. It's just a different length of work days. So this is done automatically by our system. What is important to note is that this will only be done automatically if the user has a default allowed time that's set up in the locations leave policy. So if I were to come in here and change this number manually and then adjust the work week, the number is going to stay the same because the adjustment was already done. This is probably important for some of you that already have part-time employees that already adjusted their quotas. So you don't want them to be adjusted again after you set up a schedule. So yeah, I think that's it. David, did I go too fast over everything?
No, I thought, I mean, it's not a big feature like we discussed, but it's a powerful feature, right? Big things come in small packages, some people like to say. The one thing maybe we can mention, Alex, is that let's say you make all these changes to a user's profile. What's nice is that the system does keep track of it in the user logs. So if ever you forget what you did, or you want to remember when you made these changes, it's all tracked here, and you can always refer to it whenever you need to, which is always a plus, I think.
That's right. And you can see a lot of changes here, mostly done today. Mostly done during this call. But yeah, it's gonna be a lot simpler for all of you, because you're probably gonna make this change once. What's also, yeah, the thing that I forgot but I wanted to mention is that these adjustments are going to affect the entire year. So regardless if the easiest example would be that your year starts January 1st. So even with this being the end of May, the system is going to adjust everybody's work week starting on January 1st. So this can come with some changes to their used days, because if somebody requested a full day in February, when they had 8-hour work week, 8-hour work day, and then you adjusted it to 4, they're going to get back the 4 hours that they haven't actually used. So that's really important, I think, to note as well.
Very important.
But other than that, I think we've covered everything, David. So
Yeah.
I can maybe stop sharing my screen if anybody has any questions. Hopefully you've been writing them while I was talking, but you can
We have
feel
a
free
few.
to send the questions now as well. And of course, if there's any specific circumstances that you want to set up and you're not sure how, you can always reach out to our support either through chats on the dashboard or via email to hello@vacationtracker.io. We'll be more than happy to help you set up the way you want to.
Perfect. We already have a few questions. Oh, I thought I lost you there for a second. You just disappeared on me.
No, we're here.
Okay. Whew. My God, maybe because of the screen sharing, I was like, you're gonna leave me to answer the questions by myself. That's pretty rude of you. What I was saying, we do have a few questions already. I'm sure more will pour in as we start answering them. So we'll start from the top. First question we have is, can we enter hours in decimals for the schedules? Example, 8.9 hours as opposed to 8, 9, or the other examples you were showing.
So I'm literally testing it as you were sharing the question.
Yeah.
I don't see that as an option. So 0.5 is the shortest. So like a 30-minute spacing is the shortest that you can have.
So take a note of that, 0.5. But perhaps in the future, again, a lot of these features, kind of like Alex was saying at the beginning, it comes in increments. It'd be nice to be able to just release a feature like that, but it does take time. So if there's enough demand or enough of a use case, I can see us eventually implementing smaller fractions or smaller increments.
True.
Okay. This I think we covered, but maybe just to confirm, how does it work if we make the change to scheduling in the workday hours, but it's made mid-year, so not at the beginning? What would that look like?
And I think I covered it after the question was sent. But I'll answer again, and just in case. So any changes done to the working schedule will be applied to the past. So if you have, let's say, a 3-week rotating schedule, it's going to ripple back to the start of the user's year, either be it January 1st, their employment date, whatever the start is, and it's going to adjust the number of days they used for their leaves on the specific dates, depending on what the new schedule is. So the entire year is going to be affected. I'm sure a lot of you would want to see this affect the future only, as much as I would as well, because we are aware that this feature now unlocks a whole new range of questions and requests regarding changes being done from this moment into the future rather than affecting the past. And I'm sure our product manager, Anna, will look into that and try to introduce some updates for the future. But for now, this feature is only going to affect the entire year.
Gotcha. This is actually an important question. I don't think we covered this, but is scheduling restricted for the complete plan, or is it also available on the core plan?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's only available for the complete plan. There's multiple reasons for it. The first one being that it requires hourly tracking, and it also requires the length of workday feature, which is already a part of the complete plan. So this is just built on top of it. So it's complete plan only for now.
Okay. All right. So next question. If we have an early closure unscheduled for the entire company, what is the best way to enter this into the scheduler so that if someone takes the entire day off, they are not charged a full 8 hours of PTO?
That's a good question. So And I'm sure, yeah, it said unscheduled.
Yeah.
So
So
when
it's like, let's say office is like, we're gonna take this Friday off. We're gonna do a half day on Friday. But some people already requested the time off, so it shouldn't charge them the full balance.
Yeah, and so there's a few things. One is a bit more manual, the other one a bit more optimal for bigger companies. Both options are just workarounds that I'm thinking of right now. I might think of something else later. But you can either instruct the users to request shorter time increments or adjust their requests depending on the date, or you can create a holiday, a half-day holiday, for example, if you work a half day unscheduled on a Friday. Those are the two options that I'm thinking of. This scheduling feature will not enable that right now. As I said, affecting only the future might come in the future. But right now, if you change anything with the scheduling, it's going to affect the entire year. So it's not possible for you to make a change now and then come back next week and revert the change. So it only affected this past week. So yeah, it's not going to be possible with this, but there's a few things you could do to make it work.
Right. Gotcha. Next question. Can we use the scheduler for just time and not have it affect holidays, as we have staff that just have different hours? So my understanding is that this shouldn't affect holidays, right? If we have different schedules for different employees within the company.
Yeah, it doesn't affect holidays. So let's have an example of a holiday. We had Easter
Oh,
recently. I'll say Easter. So Easter is a full day holiday in most places. If an employee that works 8 hours a day and an employee that works 4 hours a day, the way you set them up in on their profiles, uh, both have Easter as their booked holiday. Uh, they will both have full days off for that holiday. So it's not going to they're not going to be affected differently in any way by that holiday.
perfect. Should not. So I'm just typing all these answers as well. So just in case people come later, didn't hear the response, we have it in here as well. Okay, next question. Is there a way to register a short leave authorization, like a 2 hours off, just to let others know you will not be available? So maybe not quite like like 4 hours, but like I'm taking an hour off for like lunch or break or whatever.
Yeah, but that's available with the complete plan. Hourly leave requests are available, and now even like the 30 and 15-minute increments were added recently. So you can create a leave type. Maybe I don't know if you'd like to track it separately, but you could create a new leave type that allowed for hourly leaves, where the users can request 1 to 3 hours off whenever they need to.
Can we use Okay, can we use a scheduler for just time and not have it affect vacation, as we have staff that just have different hours? So kind of like where you were diving into a little bit before, where
The balances, yeah.
yeah,
So the balances are going to be affected if you change the working hours. They're only going to be affected if the user has a default working uh, a default leave quota from their location. So if you have users where you manually change, let's say, for example, your default is 15 days, but somebody has 18 days, somebody has 22 days available per year, and you change that on their profiles, those numbers are not going to be affected because they were changed. So only the default quota will be changed in case you make this adjustment. But anyways, like even if you change, let's say, from 8 hours to 4 hour work week, uh, and it affects their balance, you can still go into the editor and change their balance back to what you want it to be.
Perfect. Well, that's the end of the questions I see here. We can give maybe a few more minutes just to ensure everyone has enough time to ask any questions they have. And yeah, I mean, I figured it would be a shorter office hours just given that the feature is not, very complicated. Again, small but powerful is how I like to describe it. Seeing a lot of thumbs up, I feel like more motivated to give a thumbs up as well.
Yeah. But yeah, as you said, it's not a huge feature, but it's been requested, and we think this unlocks a lot more
For sure.
moving forward. So yeah, we're definitely looking ahead into the future, and I'm keen to see what else the teams delivers.
As am I. I know there's a big update around the corner. I won't say too much more, but if that launches soon, like we were talking earlier today, that I think is gonna be a big game changer for a lot of people, and that'll be a fun office hours to figure out how to present that because I have no idea how we're gonna do that.
Yeah. So even with this, like it took me a lot of time just thinking about the best way to present like all of the possibilities. I can't even imagine what the new ones are gonna bring.
Yeah. Well, perfect. Look, doesn't seem like I have any questions coming in, but as a reminder, if ever you think of something after the fact, you can always reach out to hello@vacationtracker.io. Like Alex said, you can always start a chat with the chat bots. They love that. They tell me how they look forward to those chats every day. So you can use that as an option as well. And like I said at the beginning, you will receive a copy of this recording, and it'll be placed everywhere where you can find Vacation Tracker. So YouTube, our website, so you always have access. Thank you, Alex, for a great presentation. I know you were a bit nervous, but I think you did great. You can see everyone's clapping for you, getting the reacts. So I want to thank you for your time and thank you for presenting. If there's anything else you want to add before we sign off?
No, you covered most of it. Thank you as well for hosting this. I wouldn't be able to do it without you. And thank you for everybody for joining, taking your time from your work to be with us. We really appreciate all the feedback we're getting from you.
Always happy to join and just be the spider on the wall here and just smile and nod because that is the easiest job you could possibly have. Cool. So I believe it's up to you since you are the host. Once you end it, it ends it for everyone. So thanks everyone again, and hopefully we'll see you either next month or the month after, whenever we decide to schedule the next office hours.
Perfect. Enjoy the rest of your days.
Take care.